Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Mansfield Town News and Views podcast. Sorry about the slight delay. For some reason, my internet was deciding to be slow this evening, but as always, plenty to discuss tonight. We're going to be discussing about the Exeter City defeat. We're going to be looking ahead to Tranmere Rovers, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Sunderland FA Cup first round draw, which of course we had them last season in the second round of the draw, and this time we've got them again, once again at the Stadium of Light. So, as always, guys, let us know your thoughts and comments in the section below on what your take is on everything MTFC. So, obviously, I want to start off by talking about the Exeter City game, which, again, it's another game that it was another defeat for us on the road, and it's another week where we're talking about a loss. So I want your thoughts as well on the Exeter City game, for those that went to it. What really stood out for you, or who stood out for you, and what was your overall take on the Exeter game? Just let us know your thoughts. I mean, it's one of them. And to be honest with you, in the first half, I felt as though we matched them, and then we did well to go in 1-0, and at that stage we looked as though we could have, perhaps come away with a point from the game, but old habits again, just lack of concentration again, which saw us on the other end of the defeat, really. So again, it's just deja vu every week. It's just once again we're sitting here talking about another defeat, and it's one of them. We knew it was going to be a tough game going into it. Exeter, they're a good side. We know, they're always we know they're a difficult side to come up against. But again, it's just a shame we couldn't at least get a draw from that match. Evening, Chris. Evening, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, got fine. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Yeah, all is well. We're better with 3 points, but other than that, yeah, doing all right. Thank you, Chris. Craig, evening. Hi, Mark. Do you think he has lost the dressing room? It's hard to say, to be honest with you, because obviously we never know as fans what goes off behind the scenes. We're not sure on what gets said or anything. But what I will say is, I personally feel as though his interviews aren't helping with the players' confidence, because the interview that I did after the Exeter game, he was basically saying, well, the players that we've got are injured are the reason why we're not getting the 3 points. But the thing is, that doesn't give you much confidence as a player, having a manager come out and basically saying that the players that we've got available aren't up to it. So I don't think his comments are helping the players. But do I think he's lost the dressing room? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It would be my honest answer. But again, it's just, I'm just sick of coming on here and just saying the same thing and just saying it's another defeat and that. But what more can you say other than just say what's happening, basically? But again, here we are saying the same things, aren't we, over and over again? But the thing what I can't understand is, I mean, we know up front we're lacking goals, and I understand why we're playing Hawkins back there, because he is more than capable at centre half, and he does a good job, Hawkins, at centre half. But it's just, I don't know. It's just, again, we're losing that attacking threat, and it just shows you how much of a threat he can be, Hawkins. And again, we're not going to get goals if he's not up there. So yeah, it goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? To be honest with you, joint second from bottom now with Scunthorpe, and again, it's just a completely miserable few months for us, to be honest. Just getting down to some more of your comments, guys. Let's have a look. Chris, just my usual self, thanks, mate. Makes two of us. I bet the better with 3 points. Yeah, we'll be doing. We're not quite sure what 3 points is at Mansfield, to be honest with you. We haven't had it since August. So, yeah, it's not been fun to be a Mansfield fan. But, part and parcel of football, sadly for clubs, in it, but you have to stick with it, don't you? Coal Miner Man, good evening. Same old, Mark, but what can you say? But we had a 3 points, then one. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's just the same old things we're talking about, in it. Essentially, we're sat here talking about another defeat. It's just deja vu all the time. And again, it's just you just don't know where the next win's coming from. To be honest, here, you just can't see when or where that's going to be. I mean, we're going to talk about Tranmere later on, but that's another game that's going to be tough. I mean, they're a side that's had a really good start to the season. A side that's I predict are going to be there or thereabouts. So that's going to be another tough game. But I don't think it matters necessarily who we come up against. We've just got to perform as well as just find a way to get the results, really. But one thing that does irritate me, and again, let me know if you guys think the same as well in the comments, but I personally don't think, Nigel coming out and basically just saying, well, the players that are injured are the reason why we're not getting wins. Now, don't get me wrong, it's been unfortunate with injuries and suspensions, and he has, we all know that, but if you're a player that's available now and you've got a manager basically saying, well, without them players, we're basically, not up to it. It's not great confidence, in my opinion. And I don't know. I don't think it's the best approach from a manager saying that. Not in this day and age of football, anyway. But it's just one of them. The players have just got to find a way to win, and doesn't matter how we get that win. Even if we have to grind it out and get a scruffy 1-0, we've just got to find a way to win. But how many times have we sat here and said that, But, look, there's still a lot of games to be played, obviously, like we say. But, hopefully when the players do start coming back from the injuries, we do start to pick up. But can you honestly see them improving us much, the players coming back from injury? That's the big question you've got to ask yourselves. Hopefully they can, obviously, we all hope they can. But it's one of them. It's just when your confidence is as low as what ours is, it's very difficult to get out of this position that we're in at the minute. But that's anything you can say about it. We've got plenty of games left to try and put that right, and hopefully on Saturday we can do that. But again, it's another tough ask for us to do. But sooner or later we've got to do it. We've got to find a win from somewhere. Just getting down to some more of your comments, guys. Evening, Nathan. Thanks for tuning in. Chris, we got Keith Millen as our new manager. Maybe new manager bounce coming for us, but let's see what happens. I didn't want him, but he got my full backing. I heard good things about him from Palace fans. For those that you didn't know, Chris is obviously a Carlisle fan who appears on the stream. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. Like I say, new managers bounce. We had the same with Nigel when he came in last season. We picked up a good couple of results and went on a 5-game winning run at one point. So, yeah, but it doesn't always go like that in football. But all you can do is wait and see. He was assistant manager at Crystal Palace. Yeah, I can remember him. I can remember seeing him. And unfortunately, when teams in bad form, Unfortunately, when teams are in bad form, we have to keep playing and hope something changes. Well, that's all you can do, isn't it? That's all any team can do. And as a supporter, you've just basically got to stick with it. Of course you have, because otherwise, why are you in it for? You know what I mean? And but I don't think any Mansfield fan could have ever foreseen us being in this situation at this stage of the season. I think that's fair to say. But again, it's just a terrible time, innit? It's just a terrible few months that we've been put under, but hopefully that can change soon. But again, it is very hard to see when the next win's coming from. That's the worrying aspect of it, in my opinion. Let's get more down some more of your comments, guys. Thanks for commenting. Let's have a look. Evening, Paul. I have never known how picking on players can improve their performance. Well, this is a thing. I don't understand it either, Paul, and I mentioned this a bit earlier briefly, because look, we know what players aren't performing, and we know the majority of the players aren't hitting the heights that we'd want them to. We know that, as supporters, we know that. But as a manager, saying that in public in interviews, it doesn't do the players' confidence any good. Now, not like I don't disagree with Clough on it, but when you're publicly calling out players, I don't know, it just doesn't help matters, I don't think, in my opinion. And that's the only critique I would say about Nigel. The other thing I think we ought to change is the tactics. Now, Nigel's always got us playing in a diamond formation, but personally speaking, it's not getting us results. So, don't you think it's the time maybe to change formation, really? I know he likes to play that way, but I don't know. I think a change of formation would be good for us. It's just to try something different, really, because the formation that he's had us playing is obviously not been getting us the results, So I think we could do a change in that around and see if that gets us the results. But no, I'm not a fan of any manager doing that, calling out players. I'm not really a fan of that. Not like I don't disagree with what he says. It just doesn't do the players confidence. Not when you've not won in a couple of months, and in the position that we're in. Let's have a look. Let's get more of your comments, guys. Nathan, have I missed much? No, I've only been on 11 minutes, Nathan. No, we've just talked briefly about Exeter and about the players and essentially, but no, we haven't missed much at all, mate. To be honest, we've not really been on the stream that long. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Right, let's have a look. Excuse me, Paul. How long does anybody think Nigel Clough has? I know he has a 2.5-year contract, but contracted. I heard he had a 3-year deal when he signed with us, so obviously he'll have another 2 years left on his contract. But look, end of the day, we all want him to succeed. Like every manager that comes to the club, we all want every manager to turn it around and obviously to get us the results and get us up there competing. And we can all agree on that. And yes, we know all too well we've struggled with injuries and suspensions, but even then, with the players that we've still had available, you would still expect more from them, to be honest with you. But I keep going back to this, but the recruitment side of things, it comes back to that. The recruitment, again, it's the recruitment's biting him in the backside, in my opinion. Missing out on 3 centre-halves, James Perch being out for this season, it's all come up and bit him in the backside. And essentially now what we're having to do is obviously make do with what we've got until January. So he's still got another couple of years left on his contract. So it's one of them. I know he's had tough spells before at Burton and Sheffield United, Nigel, and hopefully he can turn it around like he did there at Mansfield. But end of the day, you look at the results, you look at where we are in the league at this stage of the season, and you've got to ask yourself how long do you give a manager, like any manager, until you've got to say, look, you've got to do something here. So, but this is the thing: a lot of managers have been sacked for less, and I think it's 14, 15 games without a win, which is quite a while when you think about it in football terms. So, yeah, you'd expect him to be given more time. Obviously, the Radfords like to give managers time to try and turn things around, which I do think you should do in football, because you're always going to have bad runs in any league. But it does come to a point, if this does carry on for the next few weeks, then serious questions do have to be asked. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we can turn things around under Nigel. But at this moment in time, the pressure is definitely on him. There's no doubt about that. Let's have a look. Cole Minemon did not seem happy in interview. Thought he should have praised the fans who went down and still called out 2 young players for making mistakes. Why? Well, this is a thing. This is a thing, Cole Minemon, because as a manager, you're just by having a defeat and not performing to the best of their abilities. Yeah, of course you're frustrated. Of course you are, but like I keep saying, it doesn't do the players' confidence good when you're calling out somebody. If you're in any job, right, if you're in any job and you've got a boss constantly on at you all the time, okay, if you're slacking, then yeah, you've got to be told. Obviously, you've got to do more. Obviously, but if you've got somebody on it, you're on at you all the time, then it comes to a point when you just say like, I don't want to work for this guy. All he keeps doing is getting on to me. Like, what can I do? You know what I mean? And it's a similar thing here, I believe. But yeah, the fact he didn't praise the fans for making a long trip down to Exeter is another thing that he never did. So again, it's just I get there's a lot of frustration there, and especially when we haven't won in so many games, we all get that. We're all in it together at the end of the day. But calling out players never works, and you're not going to get confidence when you're getting knocked all the time. You know what I mean? So it's not going to help anybody. As a manager, it's just best to be saying, look, all we can keep doing is trying and working hard, rather than just saying, look, this player's made this mistake, it cost us. The players know that. They're not stupid. They know they've made mistakes. They know they've not performed as well as what they can do, but I don't know, just keep that behind closed doors, you know what I mean? But obviously Nigel is a complete opposite to that, And don't get me wrong, managers, back in the olden days in football, it would work when managers used to call out players, but now football has changed a lot now, and usually when managers keep on calling out players, then some of the players just won't play for him, and hopefully that doesn't come to that here, but that's what can happen in football. So I think Nigel's got to be very careful with what he says about certain players, because it's going to come to a point where they're just going to say, you know what, sod you, I ain't playing for you, and hopefully it doesn't come to that, but it can do in football, as we know. Let's have a look at more of your comments, guys. Thanks again for getting into the comments as well. But yeah, very good point. Paul, contracts can be broken. Well, yeah, of course they can. But the thing is, this is the thing, though. I mean, like I've said to people before, if we was to get rid of Nigel, and it's a very big if we get rid of Nigel, who else would you bring in? That's the other thing you've got to consider as well, because who else out there would, should it come to Nigel getting sacked, who else would you bring in? That's the big question, really. And this is the thing, it's obviously the big payout as well. And whoever, if there was to take that route, if we did bring in another manager, then it would take them longer to get to know the players and get their playing styles across as well. So it's just difficult, isn't it, to be honest? But yeah, of course, they can be broken contracts. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we do turn things around. But if it does carry on like this, then again, questions do have to be asked. They do. Let's have a look. Chris, a lot of teams are underachieving. Look at Salford and Bristol Rovers in bottom half of the table, both favourites to be promoted to start of the season. Yeah, absolutely, very good point. And from our point of view, with all due respect to every other team in League Two, with the manager we've got at the helm and under Nigel Clough, both as a player and as a manager, you would expect a Nigel Clough team to be, not being in the situation initially. I know he's not been helped along the way, but I don't know. I think we're all the same. I think it's fair and obvious to say that we should be a lot higher than what we are. But end of the day, you can only take it, take things for how they are now, rather than looking too far ahead. But again, you just hope whenever we do get this next win, it will start something, like we can start winning games in a row. But again, it's just very difficult to see when that next win's going to be. But all you can keep doing is trying, and hopefully sooner or later we're going to get it. But if we keep on just making the mistakes that we're making, and we're not showing enough quality in the final third, then it's going to be a very long season. Because one thing that you don't want to do is just keep on being in the bottom two for long, because it's very hard to get out of that situation, and we need to definitely try and get out of there as soon as possible, to be honest. I know there's a lot of games to be played, and I'm not saying that's panic or anything, but at the same time, we've got to get some kind of stability going here as well at the same time. Let's have a look. Paul, my finger slipped. Greg, evening, Greg. Mr. Clough is tactically naive, has no team structure. Considering a 4-4-2, they practiced it. We did it at school, grinding out 0-0s at Northampton. He should just raise his aspirations. Simply not good enough. I wanted him to succeed, but I don't think he can do it. It's just excuses. No, it's a very good. He brought up some very good points, to be honest. But this is what I'm saying. I mean, if it's a changing formation, just change it up a little bit. I mean, look, I'm no manager. We're just fans at the end of the day. But I don't know. It's just you'd expect better from a Nigel Clough side, wouldn't you? That's the thing. Yes, we've had injuries. I know he's been unlucky with the transfer market about missing out on players, and I get that. But at the end of the day, we've just got to carry on, and we've just got to somehow just get something sooner or later. Because again, I know when he came into, I know when he took over the players were low on confidence then, and we didn't have the best of squads. And we knew when Nigel came in, it was going to take a long while before he was going to challenge. We knew that. We knew it was going to take a while for him to come in, implement his style of play, and sign the players that's going to get us competing. Now, so far this season, that's not happened. We've not been nowhere near good enough. We've only won 2 games, and again, we've gone, 14, 15 games without a win. And it doesn't matter who you are as manager, it's just not good enough. Let's just call it for what it is. It's not. And I don't think anyone can disagree on that. But at the same time, though, you look at the players that we have got available, and the players that have, some of them players have, shown at previous clubs that they can do it. You look at Danny Johnson, the amount of goals he got last season. Ollie Hawkins, he's another player that's chipped in with a few goals, and we've got some good players there, but you've got to look at the manager and say, well, look, you've got to get the best out of these players, and it's one of them. Things have got to improve sooner rather than later, because if not, then serious questions do have to be asked about Nigel. I don't think that's a over the top statement. I think we have to, but hopefully it won't come to that, and hopefully we do improve. But I keep banging on and saying this, but when is the next one coming from? Let's have a look at more of your comments. Paul. Poor recruitment and possibly poor coaching, Mark. How can we take on players who have performed really well for their teams and they come here and flop? Just going on the first point, let's have a look. That's one of your comments. Yeah, definitely poor recruitment. Like we said before, the recruitment has been terrible, and obviously it's biting in the backside. As we've said, it's just crazy to think that not only are we in the situation in terms of the league position, but again, I think in the summer, like you always are, you're always excited to bring in the players that you're bringing in, because a lot of the players that we have brought in they've done well at previous clubs, and the biggest question is why can't they do it here when they come to Mansfield? And I think it comes down to a number of things. I think playing style is a big thing. I think service for players as well. Look, end of the day, we're not going to fully know what the team's going to be like with a fully fit squad. Now, the only way we knew that was the first 2 games when we had a fully fit squad. And don't get me wrong, perfect start, 2 wins on the bounce. And you're just hoping we can carry that on. And again, I don't know. It's not one to answer, to be honest with you, Paul. It's a very hard question to answer, to be honest. I just think it comes down to a number of factors, playing styles, like I say, as well as just the players themselves. Perhaps they just can't adapt to how we want to play, or they're just not up to it at times. That's only personal thing I can say. But again, it's one of them. You look at the club as a whole. We've got great facilities at the training facility. We've got fantastic owners who backs the managers and the players to the hilt. The fan base is there. We've always been great in the numbers, despite us being in a bad run of form. It's all there to succeed, but it's always been on the pitch. that we've always struggled, and it's been a constant thing with us where we've just always managed to be in these situations, and doesn't matter who has been in charge, it's just always been the same cycle. So it's, I don't know. That's a big question though. Who knows? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Comments. Clive, evening, Clive. In my opinion, it would be a madness to change the manager at this stage. In the 50-odd years I've been watching the Stags, I have never seen such a bad run of injuries and daft suspensions. I would add that I think the recruitment in the summer was poorly concluded. Yeah, I don't think anybody can argue with that, to be honest with you, Clive. I think you bang on with that, especially with the recruitment and the injuries. I don't think, not just at Mansfield, but I don't think any of us have ever known a team to have this many players out. It's so early on in the season. So, yeah, it's tough for any manager to have that. When you're missing so many players out, it's difficult, and that's no excuse. It's just obviously injuries are part and parcel of football, as we know. But so I do feel for him on that point of view. I generally do. I generally think it's just a case of being unlucky, because it is. Injuries just happen, and there's obviously nothing you can do about it. You've just got to make do with the other players you've got until they're back fit. So it's just one of them, unfortunately. But yeah, like I say, this is the thing as well. I mean, the fan base is quite split. I think it's fair to say there's some fans that will want to keep him, others to sack. And the thing is, I think any club wants stability. Any club just wants just that one manager to have the time to try and turn things around to get the results. But as we know, some clubs don't have that patience. I mean, it's gone 14 or 15 games without a win. Most managers get sacked less for that, and it's one of them. Obviously, Nigel signed up to a 3-year contract, and he said when he took over, this was going to be a long-term project for him. And in previous interviews, he said that this is where he wants to be. He wants to build something here. So it's one of them. It's okay getting rid of the guy, but it's one of them. Do you bring in? But it's one of them. We'll just cross that bridge if it ever comes to it. But that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Really, who do you bring in to try and sort things? I mean, ideally, you'd want to stick with the manager that we've got to try and turn things around. But at the same time, though, if the results carry on to be like this, I mean, I guess it just depends on the Radford's patience, if anything, and just to see how long they would give Nigel to try and do that, really. But yeah, really good points there. Chris, couple more games of the same form. Clough will be sacked, in my opinion, as it's a results business. Well, like I was saying earlier on, a lot of managers have been sacked for less than that, and it's one of them. It's with the Radfords, our owners. They've always backed the managers that whoever we've had. They've always given them plenty of time to try and turn things around. They're amazing owners, they really are, and they give everybody a fair crack of the whip to try and turn things around. But it's just a case of just waiting to see, if anything. But if it does carry on the way that it's been going for us, then serious questions do have to be asked, But again, hopefully we do turn it around and we can start getting some wins on the board. But, who knows in football? It just goes either way, And the same with Carlisle, expect us to be competing, but we are where we are. Well, that's the thing, expectations, again, you want to be up there, don't you? You want to be there or thereabouts, And the thing is, there's still a lot of games to be played. We're only at the first stage of the season, obviously, so there's still a lot of games to be played, of course, and obviously we've got to... we're obviously got the January transfer window as well coming up in the next couple of months, and that's going to be huge for us, that is. But then again, January is a tough window, but all you can do is take each game as it comes. There's no point looking too far ahead. You've got to take each game as it comes, and just go from there, really. Let's get down some more of your comments, guys. Let's have a look. Paul, agree, big style, Clive, and the cost of getting rid would be astronomical. Oh yeah, it would be. It really would. Let's have a look. Colm Heinemann, don't think Nigel will get sacked and hope he turns it around. Don't know who else would sort it out with the situation we're in at the moment. Well, this is it. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, who else would you bring in? And not just that, but if he was to bring in somebody else, will they be able to turn it around? You know what I mean? So, like I say, I think you are better off sticking with the manager, to be honest. Some will disagree, but again, the fan base is very split on what to do and what not to do, to be honest. But as always, all we want as Mansfield fans is just to be proven wrong, and hope he can be the manager to do turn it around and get us challenging. But a lot that's going to take a lot to get us doing that. But yeah. But the thing is, though, in football, a couple of wins and that's it. All of a sudden, the opinion can change. But again, we've been saying this for a few weeks now, and here we are still without a win. But look, we've just got to try and just try and get a win out of just anything. But let's have a look. What app do you use to live stream, Peter Ray? I use Melon app. That's what I use, Melon app. So I stream on here and on Facebook and YouTube. So that's what I use, stream Melon app. Thank you for that. Let's have a look. Another thing, Mark, when they leave us, they start performing again. It's a mystery, as Toya sang. Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? Really, to be honest. I think it's just the pressure, isn't it? I just don't think the players, not all the players, but I think the majority of players just can't handle the pressure. I mean, that could be another thing. I mean, it usually can be the case, but again, it can be a mixture of all sorts. I mean, obviously, confidence being low because you're losing games is obviously a big factor, as we know. But again, this is the thing. This is when the players need to have the character to pick themselves up and say, come on now, we've got to put this right eventually. But this is what I mean. We need leaders, the likes of your Stephen Quinns and your Ollie Clarks, just to be vocal and get the players up for it. You know what I mean? And look, we know it's been poor, but, this is when you need players to really stand up and be counted and, just grin and bear it and, just scrap and fight for everything just to make sure we can find a way to win, but that's what the ultimately needs to happen. Let's have a look. Colm Heinemann, I see Nigel was at Notts County last night. Wonder if he got an eye on someone, hopefully a grafter. Yeah, I put a picture up last night. For those of you that didn't know or see this, Nigel was at Notts County last night, as Colm Heinemann said. Unsure on who he was scouting. I've been asked that quite a few times, and I'm like, well, who knows? It could be anybody. But I mean, it's one of them. Like, to be honest with you, I don't really keep an eye on any of our rivals. To be fair, I mean, obviously, he must have somebody in mind, Nigel. But look, whoever he brings in January, as long as they come in and hopefully can make an impact and improve us, then I'm not really fussed where they're from. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see who he had his eye on last night at the game at Notts. Chris, 2 wins in a row for example, right back in the mix for playoffs, etc. Well, that's it, Chris. You know yourself, like in football, how quickly things can change. And look, you've got to be positive. You've got to try and stay positive as what you can. And you've got to try and, as a fan, you've got to believe. You've got to believe that you're capable of doing that. Otherwise, what you in it for? If you're not in it for, if you're not optimistic, then what we're here for as fans. You know what I mean? So you've got to have that belief and that we're going to do that. But it's easier said than done, because patience does wear thin with people in football. So others can do it, others can't. But sooner or later we've got to do it, because if not, then we'll be in trouble if we're not careful. Another thing I want to talk about as well, I'm sure you've already all seen by now, but we've been drawn against Sunderland in the FA Cup first round, and again it's another draw against another side that we had last season, very much like Preston last season, and in the League Cup we had them again this season. So it's quite extraordinary how the draws have turned out, to be honest, because 2 years in a row having the same team in the same competition, it's really strange how that's fallen. But either way, it's a trip to the Stadium of Light in a couple of weeks' time. So let us know if you're going down to that match. I believe Westfield Stags is £16. I think the SSA is 15, but be sure to get yourself booked on a coach if you go into that game, because I'm sure the coaches are going to be filling up quite quickly. So, yeah, what have you made of the FA Cup draw against Sunderland? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. So, Sunderland, what have you made to the Sunderland FA Cup draw that we've been given? Let's have a look. Cormaneman, don't want to change the subject. Great news, Bury FC sorted out and going back to ground. Lower league clubs should stand together, unlike the greedy Prem clubs. No, it's a good thing that you bring up, to be honest, because nobody likes to see any club suffer. I mean, we know that as Mansfield fans. We came close to extinction a few years ago, as we know, under Keith Aslam, what he did to us, and so we know all too well what that's like to nearly be extinct. So it's great to see Bury, along with other clubs that are getting themselves sorted, like Blackpool a few seasons ago. So yeah, it's great. It's great to see them finally sorted. And well, the Premiership clubs don't care about lower league clubs. Let's be honest with you. To Premiership clubs, lower league clubs are just fodder, basically. They don't care about lower league fans or clubs. I mean, if that was the case, Bury would have Man City or Man United would have lent them some money to get them out of that situation in the first place. But anyway, it's what it is. But yeah, it's great to see them back on the feet slowly, and hopefully we can maybe one day see them again. But yeah, Sunderland, I was just saying briefly earlier on. I mean, it's going to be a great day out. Stadium of Light, it's going to be another great away day for us. And again, it's a distraction from the league as well. But the thing is, anything can happen in the cup games. I mean, I don't think anybody could see us winning last season against Sunderland in the FA Cup. So who knows? But the difference being, though, it's going to be a big crowd there, so it makes you wonder how the players are going to be able to cope with that. Because obviously Sunderland's, usually is a good atmosphere at the Stadium of Light, so it's going to be a different test for the players to see if they can see how they're going to handle it. And again, we could beat them last season, so let's see if we can do the same again. But again, I know Sunderland have changed since then. They've had quite a good start to the season, so it's going to be a tough game. But anything can happen in the cup, so you never know. But looking forward to going down to that one, or going up to that one, should I say? But yeah, I mean, it's one of them. It's very difficult to have any positives, but look, you've got to go into every game thinking, look, sooner or later we're gonna have to win that. We're gonna have to end this losing streak at some point, So hopefully that can be this weekend against Tranmere. Let's read more of your comments. Call Minerman. Sunderland, we have nothing to lose. Hopefully, large away following. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be. From what I've heard, in SSA and the Westfield Stags, as well as the Shirebrook Stags and other away travels, are getting filled up quite quickly. So, if you haven't already, make sure you try and get yourself booked on a coach, because obviously it's going to be filled up quite quickly. So I can't wait for that one. It's always good to get a good cup run going, and looking forward to it. Looking forward to going up to the Stadium of Light. But again, it's going to be interesting to see how the players handle that atmosphere and see what their players can do. But yeah, looking ahead to Tranmere Rovers, I've recently done a preview of a Tranmere Rovers fan, which I'll be putting on the page tomorrow. Just speaking about things from their point of view, and obviously on their expectations. So I'll be putting a video on tomorrow of the Tranmere Rovers preview that I did earlier on. So, going into the game this weekend then against Tranmere, we know it's going to be a tough game. They've had a really good start to the season. Another team that we're coming up against that's had a good start. What what would you change ahead of this weekend's game in regards to the lineup? What would you, or who would you rather change in the lineup going into this weekend? You see, personally, I don't think there'll be that many changes. Obviously, we've still got a lot of players injured, so I expect their lineup to be very much the same. Just one thing I did forget to mention, actually, just popped in me actually. Of course, before the Exeter game, we announced the signing of John Joe O'Toole, who can play centre half and midfield. What's your thoughts on that signing as well, with the John Joe O'Toole? So I think he's another player that's obviously well experienced. So makes you wonder if he's going to feature this weekend. I'm not sure if he's going to be put straight in, but I'm thinking if he's fit and available, then you could try putting him in centre half and then putting Hawkins back up front. I'm not sure if that's going to happen this weekend, but I think if he keep himself fit, John Joe O'Toole, and if he can, be match fit, then I think it could turn out to be a good signing for us. The deal's only until January just to see how he gets on, but it could be a big signing for us, to be honest. Could be, but again, we do need more options though. So on paper he does look a good signing, but as always though, you've got to obviously give the guy a chance, and hopefully he can help out in defence. So we'll just let us know your thoughts on that as well with the John O'Toole signing. But no, personally speaking, I think if he can, it's one of them. I remember when he played for Northampton a few seasons ago, he was really solid for them. But there's been quite a few mixed things said about him from Burton fans, saying that he's not the best defender that they've had. But the thing is that people are saying the same about James Perch at Scunthorpe, and since when he came to Mansfield, when we moved to the centre half, he's shown that he's more than capable of performing. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Paul, don't know much about him. Some fans have said he's a bit hot-headed. Yeah, I've seen Burton fans have not really had good things to say about him. But the thing is, in football, they can be bad for one club, but another club, they can be a totally different player, to be honest. So, again, it just depends on how fit he is, how if he's going to be available anytime soon. But if he is, if he's match fit for it, and if he is available, then to be honest with you, I'd put him in centre half alongside Rawson, and then put Hawkins back up front, because it's quite clearly obvious that without having Ollie Hawkins up front, we're struggling to score goals. And I think as well it'll do Danny Johnson good as well, because the thing is with Danny Johnson, he's not getting that much service up front. So if he is fit and ready for this weekend, would you risk putting John O'Toole back there, or would you stick to how we've been playing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to see when he's going to be fit and available. Another thing Nigel said as well last week, he said he was trying to get a game sorted for some of the fringe players this week, as well as the youngsters, for Will Forrester, as well as John O'Toole. So if we can get them players up to full fitness, they'll be two big additions for us as well. Of course, we haven't seen anything of Will Forrester yet. He's still trying to get himself match fit as well. So he's another player that we haven't seen anything of as yet as well. So, you do hope the players that are coming back from the injuries, that they can improve us, and hopefully what Nigel's been saying can come true, as the players that we have been missing can come back and improve us, But until they come back, we're never going to know yet. But yeah, it's just let us know what you guys think as well in the comments below, on what changes you'd make ahead of this weekend's game against Tranmere. But But again, it all depends on if they're match fit. That's the biggest thing as well, because you don't want to risk putting players in too quickly because of injury or fatigueness as well. So that's the other thing you've really got to be careful of as well. But we've got to change something because again, you know, if it's a change of formation, personnel, I don't know, something's got to change for us to get the results. Just if it's a different change of playing style or just doesn't matter what it is, we've just got to change things around just to find a way to win. I'm not saying go all out attack or all out defence. It's just having that balance, really. With trying to get the result, really. But yeah, no. Hopefully, the injured players that are coming back can improve us. But yeah, it's like I say, it's we'll have to just wait and see on it. Let's have a look. Man, if we got experienced players out, why does he not drop the diamond formation for Tranmere? It's going to be tricky as it is. Well, this is a thing, and I mentioned this earlier on in the stream, is personally with the diamond formation, obviously it's been a formation that hasn't really got as many results. I don't know. I don't know if it's a case of the players not being able to play in that formation if they're not really adapting to it. That can be another thing as well. But like, I don't know, even if it's something that's 4-4-2, just something basic, just basic football, you know what I mean? Because I understand every manager's got a certain way of playing and playing styles and formations and what have you, like every manager has, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's working for us. So I think, well, why can't we just change it, And, speaking to the Tranmere fan that I was speaking to earlier on, they're a real solid defensively, so that's going to be tough to come up against them. So I'm not saying go all out attack or anything because you don't want to leave yourself exposed or anything, but it's just all about having that balance. You know what I mean? But again, you'd like to think Nigel would change it around. But again, it's another tough game against a side that's in form, or had a better start, should I say? But again, we just need to change things around. But again, whether it's formation, lineups, just anything we can to get the 3 points, But again, it's another tough opposition that we're coming up against. Mm-hmm. So, just the last couple of questions before I come off tonight, guys. Going into this weekend's game, we have one of your comments going down. Paul, hope the players have been practicing their crosses because we don't seem to be able to get a decent crossing for the forwards to run onto. Yeah, the delivery has been poor, to be honest with you. I think the only player that have been one of the players that we are missing that does put in a good delivery is Kellen Gordon. As you know, with Kellen Gordon, he's obviously takes players on and he does put good balls into the box. So we do miss that from him, to be honest. At least he does take players on and he has a go. So we are missing that from him. I think Mick Laufman as well. I think we missed him on Saturday as well because he can put some good balls into the box as well. But again, I think it's just from both ends of the pitch. You know what I mean? It's just obviously the defence from one side of things, as well as we're not getting enough service to the front then as well. So it's just both ends of the pitch. We just seem to be lacking massively. And again, that's something we need to improve on if we are to get out of this situation. And what have you. Coal Mining Man, I've heard players have been falling out in dressing room, i.e. Johnson, for one, if true, needs sorting. See, I don't know. I've not heard anything myself. I've heard people saying to me the past couple of weeks there's been problems with the board, there's been issues behind the scenes now. Again, I don't know anything, guys, so I've had a lot of people asking me questions if I've heard or seen anything being said. I'm just in the dark as much as you guys. I just talk of what's happening. I have no information, inside knowledge or anything, but so I'm not going to speculate on anything, but I'd like to think we haven't got any players that are doing that or acting like that, because at the end of the day, the professionals, they've got to be, well, professional, you know what I mean? They can't be, hopefully there can't be any issues within the club of players or anything like that. So hopefully these are just rumours and there's nothing in them. But I've heard a lot of people say that to me about players and people having issues. And again, I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, it's just speculation in my eyes. I've not seen anything. But if it was to be true, and it's a very big if, then it would explain a lot. But hopefully it's just rumours, and hopefully the players can do do the talking on the pitch and get us the results. But again, it's just, I don't know. It's just so frustrating coming on here every week, just saying the same things about not just the players but the results. But at the end of the day, you can only call what's being what you can only call what you've witnessed. So. But again, it's one of them. Hopefully, we can get a couple of wins on the board and come January, make some signings that can then improve us even more. But at the same time, though, you don't want to look too far ahead. I mean, people are saying to me, "Oh, we're going to be signed in January, Mark. We're going to sign players. We're going to, get players in to improve us." And obviously, we all hope that. But at the same time, you just got to take each game as it comes. You can't look too far ahead. We've got to keep taking each game as it comes. We've got to focus on Tranmere first and try and get that on its head. We've got to try and get something out of that game before anything, and then look to January. But I don't know, guys. It's just frustrating, isn't it? To be honest, frustrating being an understatement. To be honest, but I mean, all you can do in these situations when you haven't won a game in so long is just to keep working hard, and just for the players, just to have that character to, pick themselves up and just keep on going, and just show the quality that we know they have got, and to try and produce that consistently, and now also the fan base is very split on what to do with the manager. But again, it's one of them. I think there's faults from both sides of it. I think the players. I think half the players just aren't performing to the way that we expected to so far. I think it's fair to say. And the manager, well, I think he just needs to try different things out, formation-wise, tactics, personnel. So I think there's faults from both sides. To be honest with you, that's the way I always look on it, anyway. But either way, we've got to get our act together sooner or later, because we can't keep on just going on like this. Like, we can't just keep going week by week without a win, because how long do you give it before you have to say, look, we want you to we're going to change something, you know what I mean? So how long do you give it, but anyway, that's for the Radfords to decide, obviously, as well as the board. But I don't know, it's just deja vu every week, but yeah, you've got to be optimistic. You've got to have the faith that we're going to turn things around. Of course you do, but at the same time, you've also got to be realistic and, just say to yourself, well, when, how, So I don't know, but like I keep saying, there's an easier way, there's a hard way, there's a Mansfield Town way, and it's never easy. It's never easy, but never has been a Mansfield fan. Just reading one of the last comments before we go. Coal Miner Man, being Halloween weekend, let's trick 3 points out of Tranmere. Home win, cheers, Mark. Yeah, I see what you did there. I like that. Yeah. Well, I think it would be, it would definitely be a shock, wouldn't it, to not just Tranmere but the rest of the league, that Mansfield we could actually win a game. I think that would be the biggest shock, But no, jokes aside, let's just hope we can just turn up and just if we can play the way we did against Port Vale in that second half and just take our chances, then we'll be all right, because we know we can perform well. We know the players can work hard. We know that. We've seen that. The players do run themselves into the ground. We know that. But that's the most frustrating thing. That we know that. But again, it's just they've just got to get it out. They've got to just, sooner or later, they've got to win, surely, Paul, let's hope Saturday starts out let's hope Saturday starts our turnaround mark. Yeah, hopefully, Paul. Hopefully it does. And again, hopefully, in the next few months, I can look back on the old podcast and say what an idiot I was. I was doubting Clough. I was criticising him. Where we are now. Because that's all we want as fans. We just want to be proven wrong. We just want to. It's like when we criticise players, and myself included. We all want to be proven wrong. We all want Nigel Clough to succeed. I think obviously we're all on the same page. And when we first appointed him, we thought, hey, what a great appointment this is. We've got such a good manager here that's been there and done that, and he's achieved a lot of success, like as a player and as a manager, And again, that's all we want, And hopefully is the man to turn things around, but obviously until then, we've just got to stick by it and just hope for the best, But yeah, thanks again, as always, guys. Appreciate that. Thanks for everybody watching this on not just Facebook but YouTube as well, and appreciate you getting your comments in and just watching me ramble on about Mansfield. Appreciate that. Like I say, it's just one of them. I have people coming up to me saying, "Oh, you're so negative, Mark. You never have anything positive to say." But the thing is, I can only call what's happening, and of course you try and be positive as what you can as a supporter, but you can only call what's been happening, and. Again, all we want is just to be proven wrong and just have a team to be proud of. That's all we want. That's all anybody of us want. Cheers, Mark. Enjoyed the show. Come on, you Stags. Thanks, Paul. Nathan, stay safe, Mark. Thanks again. And thanks again, guys, for the support. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be dropping a video tomorrow night of the Tranmere Rovers fan that I interviewed this evening. I'll be dropping that tomorrow, so be sure to check that out. So we're going to get a perspective from a Tranmere Rovers fan, Ethan, and he's going to be discussing their strengths and weaknesses as well. So it gives you a bit of an insight into what Tranmere is like going into this weekend's game. But yeah, thanks again as always for the support. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and let's hope and pray to God we can have a happy 3 points and a happy Halloween. So thanks again. Take care. All the best. Up the Stags.